My friend in Texas told me last night that she watched my video, the one that I made yesterday explaining the problems that are being created right now for cargo ships that are bidding to cross through the Panama Canal. And in her text message, she told me something that sent chills down my back. Now, more on that in just a moment. And I wanted to tell you guys about the latest on what's happening right now at our U.S. southern border, which is we are witnessing historically high numbers of migrants arriving, with a significant increase in rescues reported by U.S. Customs and Border Protection between July and September, an upsurge of 67%. And according to reports, the situation is being attributed by Republicans to the failure of President Biden's immigration policies. Around 5,000 migrants from various regions, including Central America, Venezuela, Cuba, and Haiti, recently began a journey on foot from Mexico's southern border towards the U.S., and they say that this movement is driven by frustrations over prolonged processing times for visas in Mexico, particularly at the main migrant processing center in Tapachula. Migrant applicants complain about how they often endure lengthy waits, extending to weeks or months without permission to work, and they're just over it. They're making their way to the border now on foot and in droves, coming to the U.S. to cross the border, hell or high water, and they're coming to take jobs and go to work so that they can earn money to send back home. Now, these migrants, they formed a long line and are marching along the highway and were occasionally escorted by police, expressing their determination to continue their journey to America. And for many, returning to their home countries is not an option due to worsening economic situations. So they're dead set on coming here. And the scale of this movement is significant, with up to 10,000 migrants arriving at the U.S. border in recent weeks. More to come ahead of the likely possibility of a government shutdown in just days, which could only cause further problems at the border with a short-staffed U.S. Border Patrol who have already been caught and busted, cutting open holes in chain-link fences. Now, I mean, for some of these agents, they too could be activated sleeper cells, or at the very least, struggling financially, and the enticing incentive of a few $1,000s to let folks through and provide safe passage could mean the difference in them making rent or paying their mortgage on time and avoiding eviction, bankruptcy, foreclosure, or vehicle repossession. Corruption doesn't only happen in Washington, it's everywhere. And money talks, especially in a high inflationary, high interest rate economic recession that's only going to get worse as World War III fires up. And if we happen to see the worst fate possible, which would be another 4 years of this current administration. The migrants, including families with women and children, are enduring harsh conditions. Although some are only pretending to be families in their hopes to get preferential treatment or get lucky and pushed through the line and allowed into this country, sometimes these are just bad men who have kidnapped young children and little girls that live in fear and are more than likely assaulted just to appear as if they are a family traveling with their father who has lost his wife and their mother. And as they reach the southern border, their primary demand is for transit visas, which would allow them to cross Mexico and reach the U.S. border. Some are smuggling in dangerous drugs like fentanyl and deadly weapons like IEDs. But this movement highlights the struggle of the southwestern U.S. border in managing the influx of migrants, many of whom traverse through the perilous Darien Gap between Colombia and Panama, facilitated by Colombian smugglers. And by September, nearly 500,000 migrants had passed through this gap, according to the Panamanian statistics. Now, a recent trip to the southern border where U.S. Senator John Barrasso, accompanied by fellow Republican Senators John Cornyn and Ted Cruz of Texas, Pete Ricketts from Nebraska, and Mike Lee of Utah, emphasized the importance of border security for national safety. Senator Barrasso highlighted that a secure border is a fundamental aspect of national security, implying that without it, the nation's safety could be compromised. This statement reflects a common viewpoint among many policymakers who prioritize stringent border control as a key element of maintaining national security. Here, take a look and listen to what he had to say.
What isn't getting fully covered in the news is just the mass numbers under Joe Biden who have come into the country illegally. We're talking 8 million illegal immigrants since he's been in the White House, well over 1 million and close to 2 million of those are what are called gotaways. These are people running, hiding, trying to not get detected. Some you'll see on television just kind of coming up to the border, hand themselves in. And this administration wants to just let them in. And, the governors in some of these states, Texas, Florida, and others, have been sending them north to Chicago and New York City, where the mayor of New York City said, it's destroying the city. The mayor of Chicago, they said, we can't take any more. Well, the numbers in those places are relatively small compared to the number that are coming across the border. The real concern I have is in terms of, I think our nation is at increased risk of terrorism because of these gotaways.
Hey everyone, if you appreciate these videos and want to stay well informed, please hit the like button and let YouTube know. Thank you all for your time, and thank you for subscribing and helping the channel grow. So my friend down in Texas sent me several text messages last night, and she was telling me about all the terrible things that she's seeing going on in her home state. 8 dead in Texas 2 vehicle crash involving suspected human smuggler fleeing from authorities. Texas Rangers opened new tampering investigation into Harris County Judge Lina Hidalgo's office. Another large earthquake shows seismic activity continues to increase in West Texas. And she says that they are getting ready and prepared for a cold front that they said will bring the heaviest rain since early October to the drought-stricken south, and rain of varying intensity is expected along the cold front as it works across the southern U.S. And they have been warned that heavy rains and flash flooding should be expected since the soils are so dry from the lack of rain. But I'll tell you what, that link that she sent me to that terrible car accident really took my breath away. I think it was Zavala County, Texas, where a tragic collision involving 2 vehicles resulted in 8 fatalities. And this incident, which took place near Batesville in southwest Texas, is suspected to be linked to a human smuggling operation. And the Texas Department of Public Safety reported that the crash occurred while a Honda passenger car from Houston, believed to be involved in human smuggling, was evading police law enforcement, and the Honda attempted an illegal overtaking maneuver past an 18-wheeler in a no-passing zone, leading to a head-on collision with an innocent Chevrolet SUV. The impact caused the Chevy to burst into flames, resulting in the deaths of its driver and passenger, both from Georgia. Additionally, 5 passengers in the Honda, including the suspected smuggler, were killed in the accident, and several of the deceased were confirmed to be from Honduras. The total death toll was later clarified to be 6 individuals from the Honda, but the identities of those who perished have not been disclosed as the investigation is still underway. And they said that this incident underscores the dangers associated with human smuggling and the tragic outcomes that can result from such illegal activities. I mean, it really is truly awful. And she told me to keep the faith and keep doing the great work that I am doing, because it is helping so many people. She said she shares my videos and my channel with her friends, her co-workers, neighbors, and her family, and also on Facebook too. She can't believe some of the mean and hateful comments she sees and reads, but knows that those poor souls are lost and still haven't woken up yet, and may not before it's too late. In her last text message before we called it for the night, she said, what all these companies and governments are doing to us and them working together to wipe out the hard-working people of this country is unfair and disgusting. But you're right. We have to fight back, and in order to do it, we have to stop living in fear, and we can't play the victim card. I don't want to be unable to support my family because I'm financially unprepared, and I thank you every day for helping me find opportunities to increase my income and save more money and find the best investments that work for me. She said, don't stop, Kevin. The people need you.